Muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano paZimu News update apo patinoda kupa first hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So ndine maupdates akati wandei ndiri kuenda ndakabatanidza pasame video. So update redu rekutanga rakamira rakadai so muri yeZimbabwe, sezvo zvatiri kuona kuti vamatatu vakataura ivo vachiti Chiwenga is my boss. Sezvo zvatinoziva zvingori obvious, magenerals ese vanongorespecta VP Chiwenga, zvitongori pachena muri yeZimbabwe. So wachibva kutora mashoko iwavo takabva taona Sean Mnangagwa akabva apromotwa. So timbotangi kumashure pa2021 tisikatangi kunana 2017. Pa2021 Sean Mnangagwa akaitwa captain, handimazoona. 2022 akaitwa major, now angari major. Now this week abvanzi ndi lieutenant colonel muri yeZimbabwe. So akosarwa nezvidanho zviri kutanga achisvika pa brigadier general. After brigadier general akukwanisa kuti anonga kutokwanisa kutoita chi, because maprotocols anonga adarika muri yeZimbabwe, anonga kutokwanisa kutoita chi, kuita mutevedzeri wemutungamiriri wemauto. Sezvo tiri kuona kuti vamatatu vaise place holder vatafuma nei ndo vachasara vakabata chinzvimbo china vamatatu cheche. Sezvo tiri kuona kuti Sean Mnangagwa ari kutoya nazvo anogona kutoitwa chi mutevedzereri o vice commander wemauto, because tiri kuona kuti nawo ato lieutenant colonel mai manje achanzi brigadier general zvichingofamba zvakadaro. Chinova chiri cho chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti zvinhu zvinomira zvakanaka. So tiri kuona president Emmerson Mnangagwa kuma key ranks kwese, sort of like kufinance wakaisa mhuri yavo, kumauto mhuri dzavo dzirimo, everything zvese zvongorana mhuri dzavo dzirimo. Chinova chiri cho chiratidzo chinoratidza kuti zvinhu zvinomira zvakanaka. So tiri kupinda mudzimwe nhau, tiri kuona vaNelson Chamisa panapa wabva vanyorawo, but vaNelson Chamisa havana kana plan dzavari kuita, because vari kungonyora patwitter hendo yavo chete pasina zvavari kumboita. So tiri kuona panapa vanhu vanogona kutaurawo kuti vaNelson Chamisa zvakazodai chii chimwe, but vaNelson Chamisa vanenge vari kuita zvinhu zvavo vega ivo. Takada kuzvitaura chokwadi panapa, vanhu vanotanga kupopota macomment section vachiita sei, but vanozviitira zvinhu zvavo vega ivo. Tiri kuona apa vangu vakagadzira bato risina mastructures, triple C yange isina mastructures. Ndosaka muri kuona yakaenda kunopindwa naNashabangu, vakaenda kumataredze mhosa, naShabangu wakawina, because naShabangu wakangouya from Norway. Because vachamisa vakati bato iri harina mastructures, so iwe uri secretary general sei ringori napresident chete. Bato retriple C ranga ringori napresident chete nemaMPs. MPs is obvious if vanhu ngari vada kuvoterwa chichiwe chienda unokampena. So tiri kuona panapa vaNelson Chamisa bato ravo rakarisina mastructures. So tiri kuona rarisina constitution futi bato ravo, because ndosaka muri kuona panapa pakanzi tipewo constitution yenyu, because mataredzi mhosva akati tipewo constitution yenyu tione kuti zveshuwa Shabangu anga asiri secretary general webato retriple C zvakashayikwa, because ranga risina mastructures. Hati mazoona ndokupinda kwakaita Shabangu ikoko muri yeZimbabwe, zvokutoti nyangwe dai ana United Nation, ana African Union, ana SADC dai wakada kuuya kuda kupindira, but ZANU-PF yakangopona nepaburi ipapo kuti bato rarisina mastructures, ranga risina constitutional. So Shabangu akangoya achingotaura kuti ndiri secretary general, akatanga kutodzinga vanhu, kusaka vaNelson Chamisa vadini waramwa bato. Tiri kuona zvinezvi Shabangu anonga ariko kuna naPrikep Farm atori under ZANU-PF, it's ZANU-PF. Zvafana maMPs aya vamwe vatotopiwa mamota nemari, wakutotuka vaNelson Chamisa wacho, wakutotuka triple C, wakutokurudzira president Emmerson Mnangagwa. So tiri kuona panapa muri yeZimbabwe pakanyorwa kunzi revolutionary is a catalyst. ndiwaNelson Chamisa uri kunyora pa, a catalyst is substance that accelerates a chemical reaction and providing it an alternative lower energy pathway without being consumed, permanently changed in the process, while participating in the reaction of intermediates. The catalyst is regenerated, allowing it to speed up reaction repeatedly, be a catalyst. Tiri kuona panapa vanenge vari kunyora, because vaNelson Chamisa vari pama1 cheche, because tiri kuona panapa vanenge vari kunyora nenhauwa dzemukadzi uya kubudiriro north iri wati MP uya kubudiriro north. Panenge pakaipa, vari kunyora kuti tinosvika chete, but kusvika kwaNelson Chamisa inini handikuone zvangu. Tiri kuona pana pakanyorwa kunzi Boss G wanyorawo kuti noted but constitutional amendment bill number 3 is in progress ka takatarisa papi. So tuona pana vaNelson Chamisa wapindura chiti that constitutional amendment bill number 3 is a waste of resource, time and effort muri yezimbabwe haiye sitomuri pari kutoda kutoshinga chaichaivo kuti zvikwanzi time wasted ese time wasted chicho wakuona chinhu chinoshingirwa nebato reZANU-PF chinhu chavaноshingirira chaichezo chinhu chavaноshingirira chaichezo anenge ari ma1 thank you panapa tiri kuona Bernard ari kutaurawo achiti we are catalysts of what yes 100% a catalyst works by being in the reaction not above it your absence high activation energy the people store the change freezes insert elements don't make history get in the flask Mr. President or stop claiming you are the catalyst tiri kuona panapa ndo mashoko ari kutaurwa pari kuuya pachero iwe utori mutengesi asi utori mutengesi as you don't think you failed to do what you were supposed to do as an opposition leader, leaving a criminal to loot the whole house as a man in the house with a gun. So tukona panapa vakafeila muri yeZimbabwe because tukona 2003 or 2002 vamugabe vakada kutombochinja constitution iyoyo vatangirai vakaenda kwese mapurazi whatever vachienda kunoudza vanhu kuti zvakaipiri ndo basa reopposition irororo muri yeZimbabwe zvakatadza kutopasa zvokuti dai ana Nelson Chamisa wanga neopposition chaiyo isiri yevatengesika zvingadai zvinatombopasa zvina constitutional amendment bill number 3 zviro so takuti tiudzwe macomparate tinawo pano munyasa kunzwa kuti chii chinonyasa kumboitika.
I think narrative is where we go wrong. Because narrative is not what is said, but it's not what is received. Yeah. The word is said, but how it's received is received as propaganda. What do I say to keep you comfortable, to keep the hope up? And that scale of saying, he has no care of the reality and he has no care of what happens after the day. So we start to lie to each other. And then we don't listen to reason because of narrative. I'll break it down like this.
Please do.
The bill that came out is flawed and illegal. Yeah. But narrative at that time said people should go and participate on a flawed and an illegal bill. How do people participate on a flawed and illegal bill? Yeah. Now that question is strategic. Questioning narrative that makes people do an action. An action that did not have a counter action. Yeah. That means the action now becomes unstrategic. Because for you to have a strategy, you have to have an action, and your action is countered, and you have a counter to the counter, yes? So on and so forth. So that means if the bill is illegal and flawed, the narrative should have been do not participate on something that is illegal, unconstitutional, and flawed. By so doing, creating a ground where you fight on continuously until Jesus comes. Yeah? It is the ground you stand on from day one. It is the ground you interact with every single process from. Yeah. This car was stolen. So even if a champion brings it to you, you are not going to enter into the car because the car was stolen. You still maintain that ground as you move. By so doing, we are holding on to the story, or let's say the narrative of morality and rightness. Yeah. But we left that ages ago. To come back now to this ground without correcting what we did in the beginning becomes flawed in our own sense, because we are not going to correct anything. Meaning that whatever reasoning that is going to be put to us in the future, we are going to reject it. Basing it that we did not accept the singular point where we should have stayed, and we should have stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can fight it. I'll show you angles. Bill is flawed, unconstitutional. A flawed and unconstitutional bill does not require a referendum. Does not require a referendum. Because why? It's a flawed and unconstitutional bill. Yeah? Even if ZANU brings a referendum, it will still be flawed and unconstitutional, the referendum itself, because it tries to make people question the flawed and unconstitutional bill. What makes the bill flawed and unconstitutional is got two elements that should not be in the bill together according to where we are standing, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And according to what we're seeing this is a term extension, yes?
Mm-hmm.
A term extension that benefits the executive, the legislature, and the councillor.
Yes.
It's the same bill. And our constitution says that bill should not, those things should not be together in one bill.
Mm-hmm.
Only should be separate bills that will then produce a referendum. Yes? We stand on this ground, we fight on this ground, and when we stand on this ground, it does not matter what process the bill gets to. It does not matter when it even becomes an act, or no, not an act, when it becomes written in our constitution.
When it becomes
we still
law,
stand and reject it even when it is in the constitution. Why? Because we stood on the same ground, and there is nothing that in the process of it becoming law that we participated in or accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that when it even becomes a law, constitutional, we are able to reject those ones that will vote on it, that one that will sign it, and every single entity of government that will accept it past 2028. We are able to say, your term to us as Zimbabwean people finished here on 2028.
Uh-huh.
What you are doing past 2028, you have become illegal to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because every single person that has participated in this bill, we have rejected from get-go. Rejected the process, rejected the reading in parliament,
Uh-huh.
rejected the parliamentary votes, rejected the person that ascends the bill, rejected those ones that are going to enjoy it, and we are going to reject even the courts themselves if they say this is correct, because we are standing on the constitution.
Right.
And that is not a narrative, that is the truth. Now, that is the difference between the narrative and the truth, because the narrative can be shifted to meet an end. The truth says you need to stand here, and there is no other gray area.
Uh-huh. You have to stand there.
Yes, and if I know this from the beginning, then my grandmother is easy for my grandmother to understand it from the beginning. Why? Because as human beings, we are designed to see things as wrong or right. There's no gray area in our minds.
Right.
When it only gets gray, it only benefits the wrong.
Uh-huh.
It does not benefit this side of the fence. And this side of the fence, we need to be steady. We need to have a ground that we stand on, that we sacrifice. And this is where I think the problem is at. The ability for us to sacrifice our freedoms for this greater purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me to sacrifice my ability to write a letter to Parliament, to sacrifice that for this greater thing. Yeah. For me to sacrifice my councillor. Yeah. That councillor, the moment this gets passed, me and you are not my councillor anymore.
Right.
MP, the moment this gets passed, you are not my MP anymore.
Exactly.
President, the moment this gets passed, you are not my president anymore. Because you have done something that I have written down in the Constitution, and here it is the point, that you have done an unconstitutionality when your job is supposed to be upheld. So if you cannot uphold the law, I will uphold it for you.
Right.
Yeah. And this is the ground that I die on. Yeah.
I hear you.
And this, I cannot trade it for freedom of speech. I cannot trade it for my opinion to be heard. I cannot trade it for my letter to be read received in Parliament. I cannot trade this thing.
Right.
I'm able to turn around and make sure that I take those things away from me and stop doing them myself, so that I can show you how serious I am about this thing that is happening.
Yes.
I'm able to cancel my ability to share my opinion with the world. Yeah?
Yes.
Because of this ground that I'm standing on. I'm able to starve myself, number one. I'm able to turn around and endure security, national security people for this. I'm able to endure being followed for this. Yeah, I'm able to endure prison for this. And ultimately, I'm able to turn around and endure the end of my life for this. This ground that I've not moved it from day one. And these are my sacrifices that I did. That's why it's called a struggle. What can I sacrifice? Yeah. And I think that is where we have to go back to. If we're going to talk about narrative, that's where we're going to go back to. We need to learn that there are things that we did in these last couple of months that we should have not done. It felt okay. It was a thing that we did, but we should be able to say we should not done them. Because how do you stop me now? If I wrote a letter, how do you stop me from engaging my MP in the vote, and my MP goes and votes different? So I think that's where the truth should be at.
Right.
Let Zanu do narrative. Let's do the truth and die on the truth, because the truth always wins against narrative. Narratives are created, uncles. The truth is all for all of us to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zed. I appreciate you, right there. Mofu Titus.
Nyamashusha makasimba.
Yeah, mushe muraitire kuti seiko.
Kuri right zvawo kuri sei?
Kunokuti ungopusha.
Are you back in the saddle now? I know you've been a bit preoccupied.
It was crazy.
No, good to have you. Good to have you. I know you'll be following our political scenes and everything happening in our beloved country.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Angu, as we continue the conversation, I see we've got over 164 people, but there's only 5 reshares of the space. Zimbabwe, please, ngati tidzira kungobaya button rinonzi reshare. These conversations are very important, and it's important that the next person can also come in your network to listen to what is being shared. It's not a big thing, but it makes a difference. So please, urge you listeners and speakers, and all, even those who are kuma incognito, please let's reshare the space and let's communicate. Yeah, no, iribo uncle, I think got things go the conversation.
Anditika.
Yes.
Ayo, andinotenda. Right. Regaindu GD travel and tours. Do you
Oh,
want to take the mic, please?
yeah. How are you, Mkoma?
Muse Magadi.
Mwofu Magadi.
Right, Mutse Andras.
I want to report song. Dan Shinzuka Storkwa na Mkoma that I was enjoying it. Um, it's something I was thinking so deeply. I said, okay, vakaitakaisa ma applications ayo kuti no ku Q Cape 3 and vazi kutipa ma reference acho. So my idea anga chiti could they allow my journalists outside the country to come and fill the gap vachinzwa kuti mazimbabweans ari kuti chii. For example, some are in different countries and all that, they are free to talk to any journalist. And then vokumba, I think vanenge vaine problem yokuti akauya pamwe anenge aine nhamo dzekuti angauye sei and akazointerviewa vanhu vacho sei and so forth. Just my own opinion. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Aiwa, zvikunzwikwa.
Because ndiri kuona ichingoitwa pass through and then if they were just making that, why making a lot of noise for it?
That
I
is the
wonder.
big question.
Huh?
That is the big question, yo.
Hmm.
That is the big question, and this is where now we begin to see where they are taking us. With this, because by now, with the pushback that has happened, I'm quite sure I've generated enough pushback for a rethink of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they remain adamant. They're remaining, on course to do what they want to do, and they are even trying to sanitize the whole process by telling us fibs, making comparisons that are not supposed to be made because the systems are going to be different or the systems are different. I've always said if you want to bring South Africa into Zimbabwe and make sure you bring everything.
Then one area where I find it noisy yacho kuti iri kuenda kupi kana it was just a suggestion yavo yokuti within 90 days come up with your proposal. Why going and making these forms and say kuvanhu vari kumusha sainai apa kana usina kusaina you are in trouble.
Mm. Because right now the narrative, right now even some of the people who are in that August house, they know what is about to be happening. They know the process that they want to put in, and people are questioning that. But we need to then get, it's just a pity that we might not get to that position. Get to a point whereby the parliament itself has to stand up and resist what is about to be happening. But listening to some of these folks who are in there is just a huge ask, because some of them they are already identifying with this thing. And when you hear people who are supposed to be in these political movements fumble in their explanations, of what this thing, is all about. Rest assured, you are rest assured, Kutizo, apana uchene, pan everything in English, udakuitika, or zukutoitika. But where do we go from there? Left, right, and center, you are seeing letters of man, oh, you can't do this, or you can't do that. Right now, we had 7 members of MDC Amonzora party. They were just arrested for an idea. You are now being arrested for an idea, not for your action. For actually thinking about saying, good, I try with a demonstration. What you do, just think about it. Before even anything has happened. You are canned, for that. So it's just a tragedy. But we must not lose hope. We must not resign. We must not sit on our laurels and hope that a magic wand is going to be waved, by somebody else. Because there's no magic wand that is going to be waved by anybody. If we don't grab this by the us as people of Zimbabwe, it's going to be one thing after the other, one thing after the other, one thing after the other, one thing after the other. It has already been identified. Couldn't be behind, this thing. It has already been identified. This has got nothing to do with people of Zimbabwe. No. Anyway, thank you very much, my sister. Tezara champion. Magadi. Champion, are you there? Right. Regende kuna wangu Tezara wacho. Tezara on gap.
Yes, sir.
Muriza ise?
Ndiri boy, Muriseni.
Yangu dada rongo pusha.
Yeah. No, you are very right about these narratives that are circulating. And I would want to agree with Seti Kuti. Majority of people who are actually tuned here will see what that messaging is and or what it's about. Good, they are just crafting